Hey everyone, Kim here, Abundant Life Tarot. Thank you for joining me. We are doing another Mystery Mystic reading, and this is a detailed oracle reading surrounding the disappearance of Levi Davis. He's 24 years old. He'll be 25 March 12th, and he has been missing or last seen since October 29th, 2022. He's originally from the UK, United Kingdom, and he traveled to Spain, and that is where he is reported missing from. So he was caught on CCTV leaving an Irish pub in Barcelona, Spain on October 29th. And in November 2022, his passport was found in a port in Barcelona, and his last cell phone pings was at a train station in Spain, I'm assuming Barcelona as well. And he's been missing, and it's been some really unusual circumstances surrounding his disappearance. And it's interesting to me that not much has been really publicized about what's going on with the investigation. It's one of those situations where it's you've got someone who is a foreigner to another country. You're basically dealing with maybe one or two countries who are investigating it, and then somehow it just kind of, I don't know, it gets lost in bureaucracy or something. I don't know, but I hope that's not going to be the case for Levi Davis. He's a rugby player and a musician, and he was, I believe, in 2019 on X Factor. So, and he just seems like a really nice guy, but I have to tell you that there's rumors that he may have owed 100,000 pounds to a Somalian mafia gang, but, and that he had been threatened, and there's all sorts of things going on with that as well. He did a video to his mom, days before they found it, I'm assuming on social media, talking about how fearful he was. And you can find all of that on the internet when you search him. Search up Levi Davis missing. And there's a PI investigating the case. And yeah. So let's see what's coming up energetically surrounding the disappearance of Levi. Okay. What's going on? Okay. All right. So I'm going to move these up here, and we're going to zoom in and talk about the cards. I pulled a few extra cards today because I was intuitively called to do so. And yeah, we're going to work with a few extra cards today. Okay, so zoom in so you all can see what we're talking about here. Trumpet, and we've got trumpet, flower, shield, rat, wall, cat, poppet, and eye. So here is the thing. This is an awakening happening. This card could symbolize an awakening to needing to set boundaries with this wall. Someone setting boundaries and someone having to awaken to that. It could be that. Another key meaning to the trumpet card is spiritual vibrations or communicating with the departed. So this is interesting to me when I see this card. It could allude, it could indicate that perhaps maybe he is the departed and he's been communicating through videos and messages that he had left because he feared for his safety, but he wanted to set a boundary with whoever he felt was like threatening him and coming after him and threatening to harm him and his family. So there's some sort of awakening happening here, and it's playing out in what the videos that he's left. We see that. But this is what's the energies surrounding his disappearance, okay? So then we have the flower card. And I have to say, like, this can represent kindness. And I just get this vibe from Levi that he's super kind. And, you know, you could just tell by the smile that he gives. He is somewhat of a free spirit. And he had a lot of blossoming abilities, potential opportunities ahead of him. Again, we have two cards talking about protection, shield and wall, which that's interesting. You've got two cards representing some form of boundaries. And the shield sitting next to the rat card also speaks to needing to be protected from someone who is a rat. The shield card is about protection or preservation. It also can be about isolation. And one of the key meanings is a defensive barrier, isolation. Someone protecting this person who has blossoming potential. This person is a traitor. Someone who turned on him and that he felt he needed protected from. One of the heartbreaking things I heard about regarding Levi's case is I don't know if it was like days or the night before he went to missing. I'll have to double check that. So don't quote me on that. But he had, I think, either sent a message. I don't know if he called his mom, but he reached out to his mom and asked for money because he wanted, I guess, to get a place to stay or something like that. I don't know all the details. But she was like, this time I can't help you. And I understand and been there. You know, sometimes I actually have a son who's the same age as Levi. And so sometimes you have to, as parents of adult children, you have to let them figure it out. He only had I don't know if it was pounds or whatever money they work with in Spain, but it was like we'll just say $40. That's what I know. So he only had that on him. He didn't have a lot of money. And this is a person who needed protecting. But he was really kind, even when his mom was like, nope, I can't do it. He was like, okay, no worries. I thought I asked. And that's how he left it. And so it was at that critical moment that he did need some protection from this rat. Okay, so that's what I'm sensing here. And the rat card, let's talk about the rat card, okay? The rat is either a traitor or untrustworthy person who is highly manipulative and tried or is trying to use Levi as a puppet, like this says, puppet. This is an untrustworthy person, a diseased situation, a traitor. A traitor could be, and we'll see what the other oracle cards are saying, it could be someone he trusted and then it quickly turned, or it could be someone he's trusted for a long time, they turn on him, or it could be someone that he met and they, it was like that. So I will see what the other oracle cards, and ultimately the tarot reading, if I'm called to do one, I will ask certain questions like about this person, this rat that's showing up in this reading. So let's talk briefly about the wall card. This is about obstacles. So Levi could foresee obstacles. a separation. Someone was isolating him. Maybe still isolating him. We'll see what the cards say. This is about protection or seeking protection, sitting underneath the trumpet card. And also maintaining boundaries. And when you watch the video, the last one is like in black and white, I believe, of him, he was like, you could tell that he had had enough and he was going to stand up. But I don't know. I don't know if that necessarily was the right time to do so. And I'm saying the reason why he was considering setting this boundary and enforcing it, and it may not have been the sweet time to do so, is the cat card. One of the key meanings in this deck, for this deck, is resurrection for the cat card. It represents an independent person, intuition, following your intuitive, prowess, if you will, like with the cat here. But it also can mean misfortune has befallen onto him. Like this was not an opportune time to try to protect yourself. This actually, you were in a vulnerable space and state, not able to protect yourself. So when I was talking about his reaching out to his mom, this is not to blame her at all. She didn't do anything wrong. This is more about him needing to protect himself, making a choice to stand up, but it was not at the right time when he was strong enough and had the resources to really kind of distance himself from whatever threat this is. This is not about his mom. He should have, sent money to him. No, it is not. Just want to make that clear, because that is what Spirit is telling me to make clear. And so I will. Pop it. We talked about this. This is manipulation. Brainwashing is one of the associated keywords. Having control over someone. He wanted to resurrect against this. And there's an eyewitness with this eye card. Someone who's seen something and may not have told. Or maybe the eyewitness has told. Maybe talked to the PI that was hired. Maybe talked to law enforcement. Or maybe hasn't said anything because they are feeling like the potential wrath from this rat. Like they don't want the wrath. They don't want retribution. They don't want to be involved. They don't want any problems with this rat. They've seen the manipulation. They know about it. They could have possibly seen what happened to Levi, but I think this is more about someone knowing who the rat is and what was going on. Not having knowledge. Bearing witness. Okay, so as I've started to do in these readings I've been doing, is I want to look at the shadow aspects of Levi's disappearance. And I'll zoom out in just a moment, actually. Let's zoom out now. Let's zoom out now. Okay. Spirit, what can you share about the disappearance of Levi Davis? We have shame. This is somewhat of a trigger warning, but in one of the videos, he did indicate that there was some form of abuse on him. Okay. So if you go watching or looking for the videos, just be forewarned that it's upsetting. So we've got shame. Is it his shame? Is it someone else's shame? Maybe the eyewitness. Could be multiple witnesses. We have jealousy. That's interesting. What else? What are the shadow aspects surrounding Levi's disappearance? We have fearful. Disrespectful. Okay. Let's see if there's anything else. Anything else, Spirit? If not, we'll move on. We'll talk this. Brainwash. Brainwash. ties in with the puppet card. Okay. Okay. One more card, Spirit. Thank you. Levi. Doubtful. Okay, let's talk about the cards here. I guess I could do them like this. All right, so we've got shame, jealousy, fearful, disrespectful, brainwashed, and doubtful. So there's a lot of shame, him carrying shame for a long time. And I don't know how long this brainwashing and control has been going on, but it was long enough. And I guess it doesn't take long to have an event come about that makes you shameful, an attack, a sexual assault. It can cause immediate shame, but this feels like over time, the shame building and growing, shame from getting himself into a situation. Someone may be jealous of him. There's jealousy here. I don't know if I feel like there's jealousy emitting from him to someone else, or it could be that if he has a debt of $100K, what was he needing that money for? That would be my natural next question. And maybe that could be a question for the tarot reading. If I'm called to do one later, I could ask, well, what was the loan for? Because that could lead to some important clues about maybe who may have done this, who may have, been associated with this whole situation here, this brainwashing situation. Jealousy could be him wanting things. And so this is what led to him being involved in a situation that he needed protection from ultimately. Like it devoured him, this rat, brainwashed. We talked quite a bit about that. He was fearful. And you get that sense from when you watch the videos, when you hear about the case, when you read up on it, when you watch a few videos, you will see he was fearful. There's a lot of disrespect. Either this person who is ultimately responsible for his disappearance felt disrespected by him, disrespected by the boundaries that he was setting forth and enforcing. And it also could mean, not just and it can mean that he was being disrespected, treated like subhuman. He was brainwashed. And there's even doubts. Like maybe he was doubtful of the full extent of what these people could do. Maybe people were doubtful of, that he owed a Somali mafia gang money, doubtful of his story. But that's part of the isolation, is making it seem like he's crazy, when in fact it's not. It's something deeper. There's something deeper. Okay, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pause. Well, actually, before I do that, sorry, you all. Let's just pull one or two of the Dark Mirror Oracle and see if we can get any additional insights. We have sacrifice. Any additional insights surrounding Levi Davis? Sacrifice and revenge, quite dark energies. Sacrifice and revenge. This to me, now, it feels like definitely someone felt slighted, disrespected, and he was going to be made an example. Someone needed to bear witness to the example that this person, this vengeful person, was going to take with the sacrifice and revenge card, okay? They felt disrespected. There's revenge. Now, some could say that, Levi could be alive and maybe he wanted to take revenge against his loved ones. I don't think so, though. I think someone felt like there's this God complex to this person that's responsible. And Levi is not the only one that has been manipulated. I feel like there's others, and this is a mode of operatus. This is how this person operates: manipulating, mind control, brainwashing, victims here, shame. This is a bigger shame than the one-time event. This feels darker, and like it's part of the thrill of treating people like this. Okay. All right, now I'm going to pause here because I'm going to move the cards to the side so we can pull down some additional oracle cards. I'll be right back. Hi, so we are continuing our deep oracle reading surrounding the disappearance of Levi Davis. Spirit, what additional insights would you like to share with us? Power control. Regret, remorse. Okay. Gunfire, maybe the threat of gunfire, all right? Or it could be a gun is involved, aiding and abetting. Additional information. Oh, look, I say information comes out. A lawyer. Lawyer could represent a defense attorney, prosecutor, or it could be someone who is involved in the situation, is a lawyer. Someone needs a lawyer. We have crimes of passion. Mental health. Okay, let's get these in order. Targeted victim, weapons, hired help, let's see. Okay. Levi Davis. Police. Levi Davis. Human trafficking. Okay, so we have buried, police, poison, and human trafficking. Okay, so we're going to talk about these cards, and then if I'm called to pull additional ones, I will. But let's just talk about these cards for a moment. Let's zoom in for a moment. All right. Power control. Again, we talked a lot about that with the puppet card over here. There's someone who, there's a lot of power dynamics going on here. And someone having to be, for lack of a better word, slave, and someone has to be the master. That type of dynamic. We have regret and remorse. This could be Levi's regrets over in getting involved in a situation, or it could be regrets of friends and family, or it could be, I'm not getting a strong sense of it being the person who is responsible for his disappearance. I'm not getting a strong sense that it's his regret or remorse. Oftentimes when we're doing these readings, we're picking up on the collective energy surrounding a person, a situation, a relationship. So it may not always be that of the parties directly involved. It could be also the surrounding people. Okay, we have gunfire. Gunfire could represent someone who is either threatening, shooting someone, or it could represent a weapon that's involved here, that involves a gun. We got the weapons card all the way down here, which supports that. Aiding and abetting. So remember how I was like, this feels like this has been an ongoing thing. And in order for it to be an ongoing thing, you would need help. Aiding and abetting is meaning that there's more than one who's involved in this. We have lawyer. We talked about the lawyer. We have information. We have a crime of passion and mental health. So there is, to me, a sense of a lot of information. Maybe the information later will come out about a potential weapon that was used, or about regrets and remorse from either Levi or people around him. A lawyer is somehow involved, whether it's representing someone who's, or someone lawyering up. Sometimes it could just simply mean someone gets an attorney. Or it could be representing the attorneys involved in the prosecution. Or it could be somebody who's really knowledgeable of the law. Dare I even say it could be somebody, a person of the law that's even involved in this whole situation. Okay, so lawyer is a key word here. Information, lots of information coming out, maybe across social media, sites. Maybe there's some sort of website that is involved with human trafficking, moving, this is people who are sold because they're, human being. This is moving people in exchange for money. Okay. His mental health is also something that is of concern. It could appear that from the outside looking in that maybe he was in a mental health crisis, but I'm sensing overall no. I'm looking at the totality of all of the cards here, and it could be more of that control of making it seem like he's crazy, that he's out of his mind, when in fact, no, there's somebody who's close to the situation. This can involve or imply sex being involved somehow. Targeted victim. Targeted victim really, for me, solidifies that he didn't do this on his own, that someone is victimizing him, has been victimizing him with the threat of weapons, the use of weapons. Hired help could mean a number of things. It could mean that this is a network. This is someone that's hired. This is a human trafficking ring. It could be very well much gang related. This is about someone being buried or something being buried. And we have police. Police are investigating, hopefully. This is what this means. This also allegedly could mean that there's either police knowledge and they just turn a blind eye, or even, officer involvement into the situation. Maybe not an entire force, but one or two bad apples. Okay. The truth is buried, or this could be a person. I'm sensing this is more symbolic of the truth being buried, weapons being buried, since two forms of weapons came up. We'll see what other oracle cards say in terms of what may have happened. And I will probably come back at some point in the near future to do a detailed tarot and oracle reading. I want to reshuffle and think about his question. To go a bit further with specific questions with the tarot, we'll do a reading. If you all have any questions you'd like me to pose, let me know. Let me know. Sorry for the background noise if you can hear it. We've got Southwest, I think, tried to come out, but I wasn't clear in my thoughts on Levi. So I want to be clear about, Spirit, what may have happened? Where may he be? Internet messaging, social media, information. Look, crossing borders. Someone could have turned on him that night. He could maybe not have had enough money to get where he needed to go, maybe on train. And then it would turn out to be, that it was a traitor from that night that might be connected to this whole situation. They could have been following him, keeping an eye on him. The eye card, keeping an eye, that could also represent that. All right. I'm feeling like the cards are getting weaker and weaker in terms of messages. I don't want to keep going. I just want to show you all what came up. We have South. Lust, affair, temptation. Temptation standing out to me, and infidelity. Lust and temptation standing out the most. Like a sexual component here. We have internet messaging, social media. There's a lot of data evidence, like cell phone data, computer data, website, ISP information, things of that nature. What else do we have? Crossing borders. Well, he did cross borders. I mean, he came from the UK to Spain, but this could be about, maybe there's evidence of him crossing borders, maybe not in Spain anymore, or this could mean that the perp, usually this speaks to like the perps crossing borders to do what they do, or cross borders after this happened, complicating the situation further. I'm going to have all these little locale ones or clues over here for a moment. We'll talk about those together. Bicycle. When I see this card, I think of someone not having the means beyond what you would have with a bicycle. Like, you know, you don't have the means for a bus ride, a train ride, a plane ride, but you may have the means for a bicycle. This could be someone, a witness in the area traveling on bicycle who may have seen something. Maybe not involved, but just seeing something. Someone actually maybe really truly seeing the last steps, or someone discussing something with Levi. Okay, that's what I'm picking up here. We have solved evidence. That is encouraging to see that this case could be solved. However, we got cold case. This case also runs the risk of going cold. Doesn't mean that they don't have enough evidence to move forward, but maybe not enough to really nab the ultimate person or the persons responsible. So they may end up knowing who and what happened and why, but it may be difficult because you're dealing with multiple countries. Are there extradition laws? Are there, what's tied into when it is an international crime? Okay, crossing borders with the human trafficking element. That too is going on. Hitchhiking picked up. That's why I was saying maybe there's some element of him running out of cash and someone seemingly being like, okay, I'll help you, but they're a part of this whole dynamic, and they took him. One thing that's interesting though, and I was wondering if it would come up here, and it hasn't yet, on whether he's alive or not. And see, that would be one of the questions I may pose. I don't always like to share it if I'm intuitively called not to share it in the video. But I would ask, like, is he still with us? I'm getting a sense with the weapons card that he's in grave danger. Spirit, is there anything else you wish to share about the perp or this case before we wrap up the detailed oracle reading? And sometimes I could ask a question in the tarot reading and we'll get our answer in a whole nother question, cards for another question. I'm going to reshuffle. I want to make sure I'm clear. Spirit, regarding Levi Davis, is there anything else you wish to share with us about his disappearance, what may have happened, or who may be responsible? Yeah. Like this person could have said, oh yeah, I can help you, and then took them right on back. Right back into the fold. Okay, so the first one says victim or victim's family was familiar. Victim or victim's family was familiar with the perp. Okay, so that makes sense to me. This is not stranger danger. This is not him, you know, running into someone who's, you know, this is targeted. And he knew the person ultimately responsible. Additional evidence at the scene may be discovered. Now, what scene? Maybe the scene will be found later, and when we do the detailed tarot and oracle reading sometime in the near future, we can ask, like, where might the scene of the crime be? You know, so there's that. Perp has a history of committing crimes. That makes sense to me, and I talked a bit about that over here, where it feels like this has been an ongoing thing. This crime may be solved by DNA testing or other scientific methods, other forensic type methods. You can Google all the additional ways that you can have other scientific methods to solve a case. His passport was floating. That doesn't bode well. When you're traveling abroad, you always try to hold on to that if nothing else. So someone really wanted him to, you know, it to appear like he did something to himself, to distance themselves from what they've done. All right, my friends. Well, before we wrap up here, I did want to just show you these cards. Outback, Rule, Deserted, Cave, Inside, Underground, Tunnel. What stands out to me is underground, like this is feeling very underground. It could also represent him being inside or somewhere tucked away. And I feel like because there's no water in this at all, the fact that they threw the passport into the water where the port was, it just feels like they were trying to divert it to poison the situation. He could have been poisoned as well. This could represent poison. Poison could represent a toxic situation. It could also represent, how would I say this? Someone who is consuming something that's toxic, engaging in something that's toxic to themselves. It could mean that. I wanted to make sure I touch on all the cards before we wrap up this detailed oracle reading. Country, wilderness, green, lush. I'd have to look at the maps to see if there's nearby areas that are natural. Algae, swamp, reeds. Interesting. So that is a water element here. But that, you know, it could be what is being portrayed of where he may be at. But really, he's in some sort of area that's hidden. Underground. So it will be interesting to see what the cards say in terms of if he is alive or not. And I pray he is. Let's, you know, send our loving thoughts and prayers for Levi's safe return. And I want to thank you all so much for liking the video, sharing these videos, also your amazing comments. I do try to read through all of them. Even if I can't respond to all of them, I do try to read through all of them. It may take me a little while, but I thank you. Do me a favor on your way out. Please hit the like button as well as subscribe if you haven't already done so. And give me your thoughts about what you think, especially after if you are called to see what I was talking about in part, in the first part of this oracle reading, where there's videos of him saying certain things. After you've watched that, you've seen this video, come back to the comment section and let me know what you think. Okay? I want to hear from you. All right, friends, take very good care of yourselves. I'm going to straighten up all these cards, take a few pictures. You'll see that as we roll out of here. Much love. Bye for now.